We are live on Facebook. Hello,
Hi,
Soulfire.
Soulfire.
Happy Monday. Hello. How are you today, Christopher?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been real tired, you
Me
know.
too. Me too. I've been having some stuff happening, but today I woke up feeling pretty good. Did not have a lot of ascension symptoms going on today. I just felt like, whether it's the planet or spirit or the universe, whatever, is cutting me some slack, giving me some time to breathe a little bit. I was even keeled emotionally. I have not checked my transits, but I didn't have all this crazy stuff going on, all this nausea and solar plexus pain and headaches and um, vibrating and ear ringing. I mean, it was just like, it felt like a normal day in the neighborhood.
Good. I am real happy for you. You deserve that.
I do. How was your day?
You know what? Today was a good day. I feel still like I guess even keel is a real way to put it. Like I would never say that I'm ever like real chill.
Yeah, me neither. I'm always doing something.
Feel real chill and like I'm
Hmm.
just gonna sit and we're gonna do a session and this Jessica today isn't all amped up. So I feel real chill, but it's like a
Hmm.
lower energy for me.
Me
Um,
too.
and I did have a little head pressure one day last week, but I've had some relief on that. And thank you, because those headaches take me down. I had one last week, and I've just known that I've been real tired. And
Me
so
too.
I think Saturday and Sunday, I took a nap. And I didn't feel the need to push myself and like in the work and the things that I'm creating. Like I just did actually, I was real productive. So it may
Hmm.
have just helped me focus. So I actually got a lot done and just kind of went with the flow, which felt really good. And
Hmm.
just looked, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go take a nap. And that sounds perfect.
Yes.
So, and today, just again, real low key. Yeah, just
Yeah, we're both
tired.
looking good. So, yeah, I have been tired too. I slept pretty well last night, but sleep has
Oh,
been very strange. Did you sleep well last night?
no.
Oh, interesting.
Thank you for saying that. You
Well, that
slept.
was me the 3 nights before that. So, and we are amping up for Saturday.
Oh, you
Saturday is
Halloween
coming.
ceremony. Oh, come in town. Come on. Come on.
I'll be
Halloween
there
ceremony.
very
Yes.
soon. You'll see
I'm
me
excited.
very soon.
Yeah.
So we're
Thank you for
we're
saying that.
amping
So,
up.
okay, tell me about that. Tell me about it.
The energies are amping up, getting ready for the full moon in Taurus. It's a blue moon. So, and it's a micro moon. And the other moons we've had this month were super moons, but this one's a micro moon. So, which means it's farther away from Earth, which can actually cause more emotional tension as there's more pull, if you will. So we are going to have some interesting things happening, especially because the moon will be conjunct Uranus at the exact time of the full moon at 8 degrees of Taurus. The moon will conjunct Uranus at 8 degrees of Taurus. So Uranus is all about Kundalini awakening, shock, surprise, rebellion, freedom, liberating you from old subconscious programming and emotional loops and things like that. So this full moon is really, it's about rooting yourself in the body. It's in Taurus, grounding your energy and freeing yourself, you could say, by releasing what is no longer serving you, but it will come as a surprise. Things will come up very suddenly, and we need to look at what's going to happen as we build towards that energy to really get an idea of what is it that we want to release. And I've had a lot of emotional stuff going on, a lot of different emotions coming up, a lot of different things coming up in me, and lots of crying, lots of releasing that way. But, sometimes I wonder, are there other ways? There are other ways of releasing these energies, clearing your energy field, grounding it, going out into Mother Earth, but just, you know, sometimes I feel things and have these emotions come up, and I'm constantly wondering, how does this need to be expressed, or how can I release this if it is something that needs to be released? Because sometimes things just come out of nowhere. And that's how you know it's possibly something that's just, it's coming up. It's ready to go. It's ready to purge. We're ready to close these cycles, and we've got to get rid of all of the extra gunk out of there. So.
Couple of things about that. One, I'm seeing this in my clients, where there's a lot of legit emotion about things going on right now, but really it's a trigger from something that's happened deep in the past that we've hung on to.
Yes.
Our body now like, I'd like to get rid of that. So it comes up in this, now that we're getting into this full moon, and just I've been getting the same thing. It's more emotional, even though the moon is further from the earth, it pulls harder. And so that emotion is coming up. I had this, now this may not have been full moon. Mine was maybe getting ready for the full moon, but also I had a trigger day for multiple things happening. Like something happened. I didn't have a great, I had somebody wasn't real happy with the reading. And then like, it was actually a good reading, but really recent grief, so it didn't sit well. And so then I was, because I like was upset about that and didn't like that, anyway, that triggered emotion.
Been there.
And then like later that day, I just was super emotional, and I'm like crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. I was like, what's going on? They were like, you remember that anniversary? I was like, oh, it's today. I thought I was like a week off in my timing. Even. It's already here. So like all of that triggered it, but I'm finding like there are things happening that are triggering, and this is normal. Like there's a legit thing that's going to happen if Chris and I get in a disagreement. It's triggering me to be upset, but I'm even more amped because it's bringing up my past. Okay.
Yes. You wouldn't get triggered if there was nothing there to heal.
I'd be like, oh well, shit, sucks. Moving on.
That's right. So your triggers are your, emotions are messengers, all that kind of good stuff. But triggers are messengers as well. There's still work to be done.
Yes, and there's something you said too. So there's something you said that made me want to talk about tuning into your body.
Well, that's because there's a lot of emotions that I have coming up, and there's, I get on these emotional roller coasters. Like today, everything that's still going on with me is still going on. I could still access certain thoughts. I could still go to certain places in my mind. I could still feel shameful about something. I could still wallow on the past if I wanted to. And today I just wasn't. And it might be because I have released certain things. And it might be because I have released certain things in ways that I thought were not good, but they still got released, right? Because we're not perfect, and we also don't always know that sometimes I go back to Abraham Hicks, because they make some good points. But Abraham said one time, sometimes your inner being, or as we would call the higher self, sometimes your inner being, that soul part of you, whatever, will lead you down a path of more resistance to sharpen your desire because your belief that you can't have it is stronger than your desire for it. So we've got to sharpen the desire more, because sometimes the belief is just too strong, something like that. And so sometimes I feel like maybe we are triggered, and sometimes we are called to step backward, to revisit again, to step back, or to backtrack in our progress, because we're really on this linear time frame. We really buy into this whole linear thing. We're going to step back into and feel like we failed, or that we're going backward, or we're not where we're supposed to be, so that we can continue doing more work in that level. And sometimes there are things that we do that allow something. I mean, for instance, I think I may have done some things that I felt was going backward, or something that I want to be the old me, and then feeling like it must not be the old me, but the way I felt after it, the shame and the guilt gave me a chance to love myself anyway, and gave myself a chance to forgive myself, because that's really what it's about. As much as I want to be done with this and want to be over that, it's all about, can you have unconditional love and be forgiving of yourself anyway? I think that's actually the lesson. So the soul's probably thinking, I don't care if you go try to jump off a bridge, as long as you forgive yourself when you land in the water and wake up anyway. It's about the forgiveness. It's about the being okay anyway. And then once you feel that not good feeling and that shame anyway, having to release that, it's like, here, eat something not good for you so that you can, let's say you got some gunk in your stomach. Well, here's some stuff that's going to make you throw up. That way you get even more of it up. It's not the best way to do it, but sometimes our ego won't let it be any other way.
I can relate to that in so many ways. You know, this is the work that we're being asked to do, I feel like, as a collective in different ways right now. Okay. And there were things that I heard as you were saying this, because it had to do with the linear time and the going backwards, when really it just hasn't fully left.
Right.
Not even, you're right. Like, we buy into linear time when really, I even said to somebody today, you already have that. I was like, oh wait, it's coming, but you already have it.
Yeah, in some future self, you already have it, and in some probability, in the, that's true.
But we're still human, so we still have to, do our own work. So, but the fact of it being that it's not going backward, it is definitely just trying to get the rest of it out. It's like, oh, I got most of it out, but shit, there's still a little piece. When you're like, oh, I thought I was, for me,
Yeah.
I thought I was done with that.
And the ego is like, again. Oh no, you're failing. You're going backwards. You're doing that thing you said you weren't gonna do. Because sometimes it's just so strong in you, you feel like, do I just do it and feel guilty, or do I not do it and feel, it's like, everyone knows what that feels like at some point. So how do you know if it's spiritual? How do you know if you're just relapsing and going back to what you shouldn't be doing? Or how do you know if you're releasing something? You just have to trust, and I'm not good at that.
I can only share from my own example. And I'll tell you the one they're giving me. And I think this is why you're speaking in the terms of food, because mine is food. And not because you knew I was going to go there, but mine is food. Mm-hmm. And mine has shifted. Mine has changed. But what they're showing me, and you're going to be like, but like what they're showing me is how when I want food, or am I soothing with food or comforting in some way or using food, I started to acknowledge it. And I was like, I'm eating this because I'm bored, or I'm eating this because I'm fucking pissed off, and I would acknowledge it. And then I'd be like, and I'm still going to eat it. Or I'd be like, I don't really want it though. I don't even want that flavor.
Right.
Like, I had to do a lot of acknowledgement, and like, I also had to acknowledge what it made me feel like after, and acknowledge that beforehand, so I was prepared, which, I feel like you do. And also, there's still more exiting your body. Like, the whole time, legit, the whole time we've been talking, this whole oval piece on your right side comes up. It's almost like,
on my right side?
Your right side, I want to put it around your rib, and I can feel it up my back, and I can feel it up to my shoulder blade. Hold on, I'm going to draw a picture because I'm an artist.
Yes, you are.
I didn't say you were an artist.
You are a good artist. You already are a good artist.
So this is your arm, and this is your neck, and it's like, it actually comes down a little bit further here, okay? So this area hanging on, I can feel it on me. And I hear like it's like a leech, it is draining
Okay.
you. It is not negative. Okay, and that's the one thing. Like we have in the healing work that I do, and I do use Reiki, and I do use different energy healing, and I go with what I'm guided to do. I might even do essential oils or sound healing. But really, our intention is everything. So, our job when we're doing our practice and our meditation is to tune into our body and notice if we're feeling or seeing or hearing things as we just kind of
Well,
scan. And
I can
that
tell you
comes
the
up.
first thing that I thought was get it off of me. And then a voice came in, and I'm not saying it's like, but something was like, no, it belongs to you. You need to love it and turn it into something else.
Love it.
That feels better to me than wanting it to get off of me, because it's not an entity or an attachment, correct?
Wow.
Okay, so then
It's
it
an
must belong to me. It must be something that is, I don't know. I don't know. Go on.
well, it is set aside. It is not integrated. It is almost like it's been cast out, and that's why it looks to be a darker shade.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So
It's
now
something I got you. Yes.
this needs to be nurtured, is what they show me. Like literally
Mm,
taking it, grabbing it, and cradling it. And it's like putting a lot of light. There's a lot of rainbow energy that needs to go into this. And there's a blend that will happen through the rainbow colored energy.
okay. Can you Can
Go
you
ahead.
tell
What were you
me
gonna
about this? Is this normal when you have things about yourself? Like, could this be something related to shadow work needing to be done, or?
I'm sorry, I didn't I laughed because they said who says any of this is normal. I was like, okay,
Exactly. Exactly.
this is your normal.
This is this is normal shit for me.
I feel a tightness in that shoulder blade. So does this happen to other people? Yes, and sometimes not the same way. And different things react different ways. So where your trigger has this layer and this layer and this layer, even if this person has the same trigger, their layers of trauma on top are different. So
Hmm.
they react
Based on what it's related to.
differently. And the layers of trauma and coping on top.
So, what would be ways for me to integrate this?
Visualizing one, bringing yourself down into your body and being present in it. Like I want to almost make you aware of your hips sitting in your seat, getting you present, because it's like you're pulling your spirit in, but you're not feeling your spirit in your body. Okay. That's the dissociation. I might be saying that word wrong, but that it's pulling yourself back down. That's rooting you, grounding you. And then guiding yourself through, it doesn't have to be through your chakras, but being present about your body and becoming aware of it and seeing how this shows up for you. Because where that shows up for me in this shape and this color, you're going to be aware of what it is to you. So if I want you to, like right now, close your eyes, and I want you to focus on that area of your body. Do you have any sensations or any visualizations that come up about that area?
Yes, there is more like tightness, or you could say pain, but like, because I'm not leaning against something. Anytime I sit down like this and I don't have anything to lean up against, my back will get kind of tense or tight, but it's really the right side that's feeling like that now that we're drawing the attention there.
Okay.
And as soon as you
So
said
now I
for
want
me
you
to
to let
come
your
down,
breath travel. Sorry, we overlapped a little. I apologize. Let your breath travel there and see what you feel. You see a shape or feel a color.
it's dark red,
Mm-hmm.
like a burgundy, something like that.
Does it have a texture?
It's
Mm-hmm.
blobby.
Okay. What does it feel like on the outside of the blob? Is it slick? Is it bumpy?
Like misty, like it's
Okay. Mm-hmm.
like the film is not high resolution,
Now ask
not
yourself,
slick.
want to ask your higher self this, do we need to blend this?
Mm. I'm going to say this. So now my right shoulder is starting to feel achy. And you know, my brain is immediately going to go, is this psychosomatic? Am I making this happen? But you just have to understand who I am.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're here, Chrystopher.
But there are definitely sensations happening in the right arm as well now. But
Okay.
as soon as you said to draw my attention to my hips a few minutes ago and pull myself down into my body, because I'm very mental. So I exist in the mental body most of the time and the emotional body. The physical body, when I pulled back down into it, I felt pains in my body that I was not feeling. And I was going to say that when we had that little moment where we were both talking, but I just want to make you aware of that, that as soon as I come into my body, there are certain things that are more noticeable, which is not a bad thing, but maybe why I exist somewhere else a lot of the time. And oh shit.
Tell them, hold on, hold on. Tell them, hold on, because that's your disassociation from that. Like to go to spirit, it just went there because they're ready. They're ready, but you're aware of things in your body right now, and they may
Yeah,
be.
now there is stuff happening over here, and it really is not happening. I'm feeling much heavier on the right side.
Right? So I want you to feel that energy, because what I got about that was this energy moves around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just asking you to be aware of this energy, and I want you to talk to this energy and ask it, does it want to blend with you, or would it like to leave?
I can't tell if that was my ego, but it felt like leave. But I'm like, I can't tell, only because I started to question myself.
So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to breathe into that area. And on your breath out, you're going to let part of that go. Use that breath 2 more times. Good. Do that again. Okay. Good, 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 good. Just breathe, and you keep that however you want to keep that.
Hold on, I'm like for real.
You can share if you want to share. You can keep breathing. Okay. That was good.
Fuck. Shit.
Doing good. Guys, when we do this healing work and we tap into things that are going on in your body, those things are often tied to emotions. For me, I carry a lot of weight because I've carried a lot of trauma. I lose weight in my legs and my face, but my midsection keeps a little. So when we're breathing into this area on Chrystopher's body, he may have just gotten, and I'm going to let you hold whatever you need to, but it could have been a memory that came up, or it could have been an emotion that came up that just helped to release as we worked on releasing that. There's still a little more to release, but there was a lot, most of it that came
That
out.
took no time. So obviously it is like, wow. Like, and this is not new shit for me, but I don't know. Like that was just so quick that I'm like, holy shit. It makes me feel like, why am I watching TV and doing this? I got work to do. But at the same time, we got to give ourselves a break every now and then.
You do, and also it's okay to ask for help. I need help healing mine, and you and Christopher and I do this for each other, but we have a team for a reason. You know, utilize your team out there. So that's why Christopher and I have really come together. Is we do that healing work together. Good job. I know, and there may be pieces that you want to share at some point, and I'm open to
Yeah, that I all I'm gonna say is, you have some people here, and that's all. I'm not gonna comment on what came up. Um, it yes, that's mine for right now.
Cool. I appreciate that. Like I value that.
Yeah, you already know. You already know.
I get it. Yeah.
So
I'm excited for that too. Hopefully, because it felt to me just to acknowledge that like 90% of that just
yeah, I just let things come up when they come up. I don't necessarily go looking for them in the body or pulling I'm still learning. Like pulling myself into the body, being asking the body questions. I start to get,
it's my woo
yeah, and I'm very woo woo too. Some of these people watching, I'm from outer space, but I'm, to ask what color it is and all that stuff. I'm just, my brain, my ego or the mental part of me
I
wants to
wondered.
start going. But at the same time, all the things I used to go to, I do now, or worked for me, like I had some woman putting feathers on me and screaming at me, and that's what helped me. You know what I mean? So I don't have answers for a lot of these things, but like to feel the weight distribution and even it started coming up in my shoulders, which when I have sensations in my head from, crown and throat and third eye activity, like today, I was just sitting at work and I started to feel energy swirl here. Okay. So I immediately started, seeing if it was my beard or if it was this because
Oh yeah.
I immediately am like, oh, I'm not going to be one of those people that, you know, feels a raindrop and goes, oh my God, it's spirit. I'm not going to be one of those people. You know, I don't want to fool myself, which is also my ego. But if I'm feeling shit, which this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff and those energies swirling around my head, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. It is what it is. But I will try to focus my attention on like my shoulder or my knee to see if, because I'm paying so much attention to these chakras, maybe I'm creating sensations there, is what I used to think. But trust me, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to create sensations in different parts of my body psychosomatically to see if it would work. And it doesn't.
Yeah.
You just, until you're in this body, until you're one of these people having these experiences, I can't prove that to anybody. But, you know, so whatever this is over here, it wants to be, see, it came in both ways. There's parts of it that want to be integrated and there are parts of it that want to be released.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but here's where I normally would go after that. Is my next question would be to ask you what it looks like now. Because it's already changed.
Now it looks the same, the color is slightly different.
Okay. And then you would, is it any smaller?
No.
Okay, because just seeing the color change, I'm okay with that. And is the texture different?
Are you talking about whether it's fuzzy or not? Because it's still blobby.
Still blobby. Still the same size, different color a little bit.
I would say it's a different color because it's more see-through now. I think it's the same color because it looks a little bit more pink. And now I'm thinking maybe it's just more see-through.
Okay.
And I like, that's just, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing.
That's perfect though. Now ask it. Is it ready to blend, or is there still more that needs to leave?
Still more that needs to leave.
And so then you go through that process again. You breathe into it and you breathe it out.
What do you call this?
This is just part of my energy healing that I do.
Well, I mean, I don't want to put labels on things, but you know, everything could be labeled if we wanted it to be, especially if it becomes a system or an operating system in which something is to play out. And I understand you're already doing all of that. Okay, got it. You don't have to go into any of that now. This will all be at some point.
Oh.
Yeah, just so you know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well,
and I'm seeing crystals as well.
I do use crystals. In fact,
yeah, I know, but I'm seeing you use them in this specific type of modality, and it's going to be something you do every single, it's a go-to thing. This is my thing that I do. Are you wanting to change office? Maybe I shouldn't be saying that on here.
The office, actually, yes, I want a storefront. I plan to have a storefront.
Well, this seems to be coming in really strong.
But it's also like I will still have healing within, but I plan to have a storefront for Jessica Tansel.
Okay.
Should we get off the air and I can tell you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else that we want to, well, okay, so this healing work, let me just share before we get off. This is my favorite. I love doing healing work. I am a psychic, I am a medium, but you sit with me for healing. There are going to be things that come to me while I'm healing. And so it's kind of a mixture of everything. It's like healing and psychic and medium sometimes comes in. So it's really, I dig that work. And I do, like, they got me moving crystals and wands and sound.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so it's a big mixture, and just like sitting here with you, like they have me moving energy. Sometimes I don't even know what my hands are doing. I love that magic. So
right.
Thank you for asking about it, and thank you for letting me, share that.
Yeah. I mean, we all came here as individuals, but we're in a collective for a reason. So, I mean, it's an individual experience, but it's a collective journey.
Yeah.
So we kind of like need each other sometimes, because I have I have 5 planets in the first house. Okay. So, and that's the house of the Aries rules the first house. And that's the house of the self and the individuality, the I am and the body, the me and you over there. So I have a lot of, I want to do it on my own, and I don't want to have to need anybody. I don't need to be in a relationship. I don't need to depend on people. Why can't I do it myself? That's where, not like I refuse it. It's just, that's my natural inclination.
Spirit's trying to give it to you in a way that you might say yes.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe if we do it this way, Chris will be like, yes.
Yeah. Your mom, I'm just going to say it. Your mom is saying hello.
Hello.
That's who came in earlier.
They have been real close. So last Wednesday was Dad's 1-year anniversary of his, oh my gosh, 6-year anniversary of his.
I was like, wait, what?
But like I had like a major release, and I'm in the kitchen crying, and I was like, what is that? Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's happened to me before, where it's been on that day. Yeah, and I didn't even realize.
My body is very aware of those anniversaries and birthdays, like, and then I'll be like, oh, I've been crazy because of the time of year it is. So Okay, you guys, thank you for being with us tonight. We're so grateful that you joined us for the Chronicles of Chiron. Chrystopher, what you got going this week?
So, well, I have my astrology class that I teach at Eclipse over Roswell here in Atlanta, Georgia. So if anyone would like to join, if you're in the Atlanta area, you can come and join us in store, or you can pre-register and book every week on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do it over Zoom as well. So you can go to visiteclipse.as.me/astro. Again, that's visiteclipse.as.me/astro. And we cover, it's different topics every week, but we deep dive into all kinds of everything astrology. And of course, if you'd like to book a reading with me, you can go to my website, www.ChrystopherWithAYmedium.com.
Awesome. And then you'll be back Sunday with Astrolab?
Astro Medium, yes, the Astro Medium. So you can join me every Sunday night here on Soulfire for the Astro Medium, which is our weekly cosmic forecast. And everyone get ready, as Mercury is about to re-enter Libra on the same day that Venus is entering Libra tomorrow. And then we've got the full moon in Taurus this Saturday.
And if you are in Louisville, I am having a full moon ceremony. And what I didn't tell you earlier was I was meditating, and I think it's pronounced Lakshmi came to me, and I was like, who are you? And I couldn't get her name. And so then she led me into this whole ceremony thing and the setup, and taught me what to do for this full moon coming Saturday. And then I was like, I got off track, and they were like, go to Lakshmi. And I was like, oh, shoo. When guides come in like that, I'm just like, sometimes like jaw drop, but it was really cool. So I am being prepared for this full moon ceremony. We are going to be celebrating the thinning of the veil this season. So much to this full moon. So I hope to see you there. You can find that at thejessicatanzel.com. You can find the events on my Facebook page. And yes. And I will be back next Monday with you.
Yes. Cool. For the Chronicles of Chiron. Yes. Healing. We're doing this shit.
We doing this shit. All right. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.